everyone, and welcome back to Arkham Week. So now it is time to look at the video game Arkham Asylum. Now it is true that I have reviewed this game already, but that was when I had horrible footage. You could only see half the screen. It was just awful. So now I only have footage that's just slightly bad. So, I just thought I'd redo it, and so let's try to dive into the crazy house. Here we go. So I'm sure that most watching are well aware of the story of Arkham Asylum, but I'm going to recap anyway because that's just what we do. Anyway, Batman has just saved the mayor of Gotham from the Joker. He's taken him back to Arkham Asylum. He knows that the Joker let himself get caught, however he doesn't really know why. You start out walking through the maximum security and seeing all of the high security measures that are taken around the Joker. And you must think, wow, it must be hard for them to get out of here. Lo and behold, Joker breaks free, and it turns out that Harley Quinn is in control of the asylum. So now Batman has to contend with Joker and Harley and many of the more of the asylum's most outrageous inmates over the course of the game.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I set a trap, and you sprang it gloriously! Now let's get this party started.
You will face Bane, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, and Zsasz in order to regain control of the asylum. The story takes many twists and turns, and it's very hard to predict where the story is going to end up. The voice acting is spot on for almost every character. Mostly, of course, because a lot of the actors are the same voice actors that has played these iconic characters in the animated series. Kevin Conroy as Batman is of course phenomenal, and the same goes for Mark Hamill as the Joker and Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn. I mean, when I first heard that these guys were all in a Batman video game, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it made me feel that they were just making this video game for me and nobody else. This, in my mind, is one of the most effective forms of fan service I have ever seen. Because right away, you don't have people wondering if these voice actors can pull off these characters, because we've seen them pull it off many times before. Heck, Harley Quinn was created because of Arlene Sorkin, so how can she screw up the voice of Harley Quinn? It's impossible. But it isn't just fan service, because since the voice acting is so great, it adds to the quality of the game just as much as it adds to the popularity of it. The other characters are good as well. No voice seems really too far out of place. In fact, some of these games' best qualities is the voices of the villains. Every main villain in this game has an audio interview that helps you get into the mindset of the villain and see things from their point of view of the villain.
Patient interview 21. Patient's name is Edward Nigma, also known as the Riddler. So, Edward, Ward the Sharp tells me you've been leaving threatening riddles scrawled on the asylum walls. Again.
One would have to be severely paranoid to read threats into harmless riddles, Dr. Young. May I test you with one?
Very well.
What is it that walks on 4 legs, then 2 legs, and finally 3 legs?
A human being. As a baby, it crawls on 4 legs. As an adult, it walks on 2. And in later years, it uses a cane.
Good try. But the answer to all 3 is a baby. True, it crawls on all 4s, but cut off its legs and it can only wiggle on 2 limbs. Give it a crutch, it can hobble around on 3. You see?
It's horrible. How can you even joke about that?
Easily, Doctor. It's not my baby.
And also, whenever you die, the villain that just beat you will come out and taunt you, egging you on about how you can't beat them. And that just gets you more inspired to beat the living snot out of them.
You failed. Now suffer.
Oh, I'm gonna make you suffer, just you wait! It is also one of the problems that you have with this game because you don't really beat up a lot of them. A lot of them just send thugs at you and you end up beating them up in a cutscene. And I think that in order to fully feel like Batman, you need to be the one to deliver the finishing blow. Also, one complaint that I had would be the final battle of this game isn't really as memorable, as exciting, or as hard as I would have wanted it to be. I mean, I really would have liked that to be just a little bit harder and more memorable. But I guess for the story, it's satisfying enough. The overall design of Arkham Asylum is really top-notch. I mean, the whole place is really gothic and foreboding, and every area has a different look to it, and even the whole environment changes as the game progresses. Its lighting is bleak and gritty and makes the whole environment feel like a truly horrible place. And then the Scarecrow levels, the creativity and the graphics of these levels are just spectacular. The one thing that some people have pointed out is that almost every character looks like they are on steroids. I mean, Batman is fine because he's a superhero, but Gordon does look more like an Olympic weightlifter than a cop. And for the Joker thugs, there really only are a few designs of them to choose from. You will be beating up the same designs of thugs over and over. However, since Joker marks his thugs and has them paint their faces, it isn't too hard to believe that they have similar looks. And since you were going to go all around Arkham Asylum over and over again, it isn't too hard to believe that you could be beating up the same thug for the 5th time. Over time, Batman's costume is going to get ripped and torn. By the end, he looks like crap by the end of the night's over. And we all know that's when Batman looks his best. The videos are also really well animated and don't look too different from the regular gameplay, so it doesn't feel like you are changing games when you watch them. They help you keep invested into the tone of the game. Asylum's gameplay is really fun and basic. Its basic combat mode is strike, counter, stun, and dodge with 2 gadgets on the quick trigger, the Batarang and the grappling gun. The basic idea is to hit as many enemies as you can while also countering any attacks that they are throwing at you. If you get a high enough combos, then you are able to use a few special attacks. One where you get to throw an enemy, and the finisher where you get to break some bones. It is a fun but challenging form of gameplay because you can't just hit everyone. Some of them will have electric sticks that you have to jump over them and then hit them in the back, and some of them will have knives where you have to stun them first before you are able to hit them. Then there is Predator mode, where you will enter a room filled with armed guards, and you will have to stay hidden from them and take them out silently. If you are spotted, they will open fire on you, and you will die in a matter of moments if you can't get away. The game gives you a number of gadgets in order to help you along your way. You have the Sonic Batarang that can distract enemies to place them wherever you want and also blow up and take them out. The grappling gun that, when upgraded, can pull down walls but can also pull enemies towards you. The Batarang, the remote control Batarang. The line launcher to help you get across great chasms. Then there's the explosive gel, which is powerful enough to blow up walls and also knock enemies on their backs. You also have an ability to throw 3 Batarangs at the exact same time. And your cowl is equipped with detective mode, which allows you to see enemies through walls and to tell if they have guns or not. It is a very useful tool, however it may be too useful. You will find that most of the time you'll be fighting with detective mode on all the time, and it'll be harder to take a look at the great designs that this game has. But it's still useful enough that you need it in this type of a game. The pacing of this game is incredible. It never throws too much at you at once, and gradually prepares you for the challenges ahead. So whenever you are faced with a new situation, you never feel overwhelmed, and it always feels like you were able to handle it. This game also applies to those who enjoy treasure seeking by having the Riddler leave a ton of trophies laying around the island, with many riddles for you to solve. It is kind of an odd thing for Batman to be looking around Arkham Asylum for these green question marks when the whole island is in such turmoil, but it adds to the adventure with things like the stones marked with the story of Amadeus Arkham.
The island changed little over the years. Its reputation was in tatters, but I vowed to fix it. As the buildings were rebuilt, I saw the future. A bright, wonderful future.
Some people might just glance over these things and not bother with it, but with the Riddler taunting you the whole way, it is hard not to want to find them all and get them pissed at you. I've found all of them twice. There are some silly qualities to the fighting at times. When you fight Bane, you will have to hit him in the head with a Batarang while he is running towards you, and then he will run into a wall. And it is a little silly. Not that it takes anything away. I mean, the fight is fun and pretty hard as well, but I find it a little hard to believe that one of Batman's smartest villains would keep on running himself into a wall over and over again.
What's he doing? Stay where you are. Get a flashlight. Get a light on him. What? Don't you trust me?
Arkham Asylum was an unexpected hit. Everyone was surprised how Rocksteady took a Batman tale and made it into such an epic video game. The story was very strong, being written by Paul Dini, one of the writers on the Batman the Animated Series. So with a strong story and fun and fast-paced gameplay, and the ability to make you feel like you stepped into the Dark Knight's shoes, Arkham Asylum was hailed as the greatest superhero video game of all time. And to be honest, there wasn't much competition for it. Of course, that wasn't until the sequel, Arkham City, came out. But did the sequel surpass its predecessor? Did the city beat the Asylum? Well, to find that out, you're going to have to wait until I review Arkham City later on Arkham Week. Asylum is one of my favorite video games. In fact, it was the first video game that I ever had unlocked every single achievement on it. And I am not normally an achievement hunter, but I wanted to say that I experienced everything about Arkham Asylum that I could experience. Well, you know, except for playing as the Joker in, because I had Xbox, not a PlayStation 3. But then I went to my cousin's and I did that. But then, you know, it got nominated for Game of the Year and had a Game of the Year edition out and had extra content on that I couldn't play as, and I was a little pissed about that. And then I find out that there's a secret room in Arkham Asylum somewhere teasing about Arkham City, so I go to that place, I look up the room on YouTube, then I go to that wall, and for some reason this darn wall won't blow up. I have used hundreds of C4, but that second wall won't blow up. I don't know why it doesn't do that on mine, but I digress. In any case, Arkham Asylum is an amazing experience, and it gets an 8.5 out of me. Thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to stick around for the rest of Arkham Week. So until next time, remember, I'd like to do 99. If I don't like it, it's not worth it. See you around. Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.
Oh, isn't that cute? The little bat's asleepin'. Someone finish him off.